Welcome, guys, and back to Deadly Rooms of Death, part the 14th. It's not actually part the 14th, it's like part 24. Level 14. I'm so excited that we're done with the maze level. I don't want to do that again. I never want to. Never, ever. Though I actually now memorized the path, so I know how to exit it every single time now, so it's just kind of funny. But after that chaotic episode, we get to go to something relaxing while meeting a new enemy. But first things first, we want to try the south passage first. It's just a suggestion. You don't have to go south first, but it's probably the easiest room out of this entire hold. So just kind of go down. So let's just head start into it. And then not head start into it. Now head start into it. Welcome to the Goblin lair. Okay. We meet the new enemy, the Goblin, which is green, like other goblins. And what he does is move like a roach. So, you know, it's kind of pretty cool. You know, we got a fancy new roach, which is actually green, but yeah, that's it. They're green roaches. Okay, I'm really just kidding. I hope I didn't trick anybody, because they're not like that. They are a little different than roaches. They can actually walk around corners, so if they're next to a corner, like if this isn't next to a corner, but if they're next to a corner, they will walk around it. And also, they are afraid of your sword. They will not move towards you if your sword is there. But they will also stay about 2 blocks away from you, and if they can, they will try to surround you. So in the case like this, I cannot kill him, so he will attack me, and he's not afraid to. But then once I have the ability to actually attack him again, he will start running away from me again. You can kind of push them away. They'll always move away from your sword. So if I was to, like, for example, move like this, he'll move towards away from my sword. But if I had like a space above me, maybe it'd be better to show it like this. So he'll try to move away from my sword if I turn it this way. But if I turn it the other way, he'll move away from it also. So they'll just always try to get away from the sword. And so one of the methods to killing these clever little goblins, because they are smarter than the average enemy, is that they will try to... The only way to really kill them, since they'll always run away from you, is to actually push them into a wall where they cannot really get away from your sword. Or there's 2 other methods we can go with. But for now, the sword method. There are some little other clever maneuvers you can do. For example, the challenge is to enter facing a diagonal direction and don't turn our sword. The only way I've been able to actually see how to do this, I don't know why it works, but go right here, have him try to walk around about right there, and then he'll, instead of running down, he'll run up, and I can just diagonal jump. I don't know how you're supposed to do it. That's the only method I've been able to figure out, and I found it by accident, so I don't have a really method to my madness of why it works. But basically something about goblins is that they're hard to kill with your swords diagonally. There's really not any good method to doing it, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, challenge completed with slanting sword. So this room you could just finish normally. It doesn't really matter. Fight one at a time. You know, you got 3 of them. So we'll do this again. For now, usually fighting one at a time is the best method, because trying to fight more than one at a time is really difficult. We'll just, for sure though, the challenge I'm going to just say is don't turn our sword. So we'll just keep these roaches from being separated, and we'll make sure that this goblin works with us by pushing him into this wall. And we shall do the same with this goblin. And we shall do the same with this goblin. And then it's just a matter of killing the rest of the roaches. And challenge completed with steady sword. So it's kind of an interesting... goblins are pretty interesting for the most part. I mean, they're not my favorite, but they are interesting. They are something new, and I'm really excited to do it. So we're going to go right and continue with our method of madness. And we're just going to go away from goblins for a quick second. This basically, there's only one way to kill these guys, the fastest possible way, so they force you to learn it. And we can go ahead and kill that. And basically the challenge for this room is clear all the tar in the same visiting of the room. So basically when that tar grows, we want to clear it all. There is something about that, but we'll get into that in a second. We don't have to worry about how much it grows, because it's going to be a set amount before we can even get to it. So as before, we want to try to get one at a time. We don't want to try to fight more than one at a time, because that's just going to lead to problems. I mean, we can do this where we keep them in there and then just kind of push them in like so. and then that way we can just kill them in the dead end, which is the next goblin's weakness, is the dead end. If you can push them into a dead end, like we're going to push this one down here, might as well. There's not really many places he can run. If he would actually work with me. If you could tell, there's not really anywhere he can run, so he's pretty much dead. But I guess any enemy that runs away from you in a dead end is a pretty good thing to have. So now to clear this is kind of a little tricky to clear this challenge. We want to wait for this to spawn. We want as much time as we can. And basically we want to hit there, and we want to hit there and turn here. Now when we kill this goblin, if we let this tar grow and this spot gets filled up, we cannot clear this. We cannot do this challenge. I don't think we can even clear the room. That's just because of this little baby being impossible to get to. So be aware of that. And so we want to kill these guys pretty much as fast as possible, while making sure we don't do something like this where it separates the tar. And, you know, where we'll have a nice little spot. Then kill these guys quickly, like so. And then we can pretty much finish the room as normal.
Nothing satisfies like the sweet sight of no tar at all.
Challenge completed, keeping Dugan tidy. And yes, no tar is a gift. So I didn't actually have to hit the switch, but I just wanted to. And now we're going to go down. So now this room's kind of weird. Basically the method you want to do is use the trapdoors to keep the eye from getting you. And go ahead and make sure that this guy right there doesn't actually get to escape. For some reason he does that. I don't know. Again, I don't really understand goblin movements sometimes, but basically just try to maneuver the goblin where you can get it. Right here, for example, we don't want to turn our sword. We want our sword already turned this way. Want to run this trapdoor and kill this. Kind of stay safe here. That way when we get to the goblin won't have much to get to us. And we can trap him in a corner like this. And then for this goblin, it's really easy. We want him up down there, and we want to run up this way. Like so. And we can go ahead and push him this way. And kind of kill him. And then to finish it up, we got this room. More goblins zigzagging along the the eyes. It's kind of funny. This room is a good demonstration of, before I actually do the challenge, it's a good demonstration of you don't want to fight goblins in an open area. The reason being is, if you notice, they'll eventually start to surround us like this. And there's really no good method to killing them. So when we're actually fighting goblins, we want to try to get into closed areas like so. Up here is a good area, or trying to push them down here is a good area. But for the challenge, we don't want to be spotted by goblins. Or goblins. We don't want to be spotted by eyes or kill them before we kill the goblins. So we're going to want to go up because it's too hard to maneuver around down there. And plus, there's a nice little dead end where we can kind of maneuver how we want to. And so basically, we can kind of trap them in there like so. And then kill them. So, you know, it's pretty interesting how this works. But it's basically just more eyes. Stuff we've been killing before. And challenge completed. What the eye doesn't see. So yeah, it is pretty sweet. So we're gonna continue over to the top, and when we get to the top, we will do more shenanigans. For example, if I can get to the eye, I forgot that we have to actually go hit the switch. That's the only way you can exit. It's kind of annoying, but you know what can you do? I think that's pretty much all the challenges for this part, for the most part. Get it? Part. Okay. These jokes do not make sense. Don't worry about it. Basically, for this part, we want to try to push them into dead ends because trying to chase them to this maze, they'll just walk around corners like I've demonstrated before. And basically, it's going to take forever to get to them. So we want to the best way is just to try to push them to the dead end. This dead end is the best, the entrance dead end. I don't know a better dead end. There might be a better one, but it's also possible to get them into, I don't know. This dead end is just the easiest for me. But basically, instead of chasing them around this maze where they walk around corners constantly, just get them to a dead end or like that one, pretty much. And then for this room, I'll demonstrate something. You're supposed to use the Tar Mother to trap these goblins and kill them, but I'm not going to do that because I want to demonstrate something else. If you have goblins trapped within a corridor like this where they cannot walk around a corner, you can actually get it to where you can stab one because they won't be able to run away because of the other goblin blocking them, and so you can kind of use that to your advantage. So for there on out, we'll just go ahead and hit that one in the wall and then quickly kill the mother. And then, of course, since they'll try to walk around corners, you can actually kind of get them to walk into a corner like this where now there is no corner and they're kind of forced to run around. So you don't actually have to be a 3 by something. You just got to have it to where there is a corner they can get where you can get them. So corners are kind of annoying when you're working with goblins if there's a lot of corners because it's hard to get to them. And then also fighting them in open space, like I demonstrated earlier, is annoying. So, of course, the more goblins you have compact, the harder it can be. That's true sometimes. There's a point to where you can actually get too many goblins, where it's actually you can get too many goblins to the point where they just do some weird stuff. So that wasn't the best method, and actually I don't know why I was doing that. The best way to do this is just to get them into where they cannot do that corner jump anymore, and we can stab one and do that. And we can do the same for up here. Yeah. So, for the most part, goblins are pretty cool. But we're actually going to go up to this wall here and get to the secret room. Now this secret room is kind of tricky. Not really. What we want to do is hit these switches and they'll open, some doors. We want to pretty much kill these goblins in this general area. The reason being is in this area they are, for the most part, kind of useless. I don't know why this area is easiest to work with, but it just is. So I always go down there first. Now we got some roaches, no biggie. Actually, before I hit that switch, it may be best not to kill the roaches first. But for the most part, we just want to maneuver ourselves down to a safe haven, like the one down there. I actually think I messed up with that. I think we can actually get you down there. Yeah, we can just do that. That works. And then, like before, we can get you to go like that. Like so. And there's so many corners here. I think it's okay. Yeah, we can use that wall too, now that I think about it. And then so for the last one, we want to kind of just kill that one right there, ignore the one down there, and go ahead and get you into this wall. It doesn't really matter. Might as well go kill these guys. That other goblin's not going anywhere. He's chilling. He's just relaxing, he's like, no rush, no rush. Nobody's gonna die for it. He could have helped his brother in, but he didn't. Because, let's face it, even though they have more intelligence, they are not the brightest group. So I think that's the only secret room for this level, and we might as well finish it off with one more room. Oh, so much explaining. I can't make jokes and stuff. There's so much explaining, so much stuff. That's what I mean by when I get into the second game. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when I get into the second game, when we had a lot of storyline-driven stuff, that's why I really want to play the second game. And I'm going to encourage Nuntar right now, please do your best to finish it as quickly as possible. Because I really want to get into the story of Drawd. I really want to. Oh, I can't wait. But, it's such a good story. I love it. But, well written. We're going to finish off this part with this room. Now, there's a little trick here. You can actually, if you do this correctly, you can actually kill one of these guys right here. I don't know why that works. It does. But basically, we want to actually go down here and have all those roaches run up into that corner right there. If you have some right here, it can be a lot trickier. So just be aware that you can do that. Now, because you'll have basically 3 coming from 3 sides instead of 2, so it becomes more difficult. Now for this one, you want to stay in this corridor because fighting them again in an open space is going to be the bane of your existence. So the best way I found is just to go ahead and use that right there. And just kind of push them into this wall, and then when there's one left, you don't really need to worry about that anymore, and you can go ahead and kill them. Now, this challenge right here says don't break any of these crumbly walls, basically. And I actually find this easier to do, not breaking a crumbly wall. So, what do you know, right? So what I'm going to do is wait for these roaches to spawn on the top. It may seem like that's pointless, but trust me, I have madness to my thing. Trying to kill this goblin while these roaches are around is hard, so just going in this corridor and trap the goblin with the roaches is the best method I found. There may be a more intended way than that, but I don't know it. So we might as well go up here and try to kill. Again, go with the method of swarm rooms. We always want to be moving forward. If we're not moving forward constantly, we got issues, basically. And we might as well go for the... I always forget which one I want to go for first, but I believe it's the bottom... It's the bottom left first. Trying to get to the... Oh, I do not want to break the wall. Trying to get to the top right first is, I guess, good, but I think it's just a little easier to get rid of these guys first. Mostly because there is more of them down here, and they're not as... packed. Like now we only have 3 spawning, but it doesn't really matter. Once you get through the initial swarm, it becomes easy.
Look at that. Not a single wall destroyed.
Challenge completed, preserving the ancient ruins. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting swarm room. Kind of use the roaches to pile up the goblin inside. I don't know if there's a better method, but who knows. And so I think I'll call it quits there because doing any more will be overdoing. So next time we'll finish level the 14th and we'll go start with this mess of the room. So, see you then.